So, good evening, everyone. Mazes, okay, speaking to us this evening. As you all can see, as the title says, it's going to be a very controversial in some senses, but it's a topic that we must at some point begin to discuss because it is disheartening sometimes to watch the things happening between the Igbos and the Yorubas. Hence, the necessitation this evening to discuss something that I know many of you would find interesting, and some of you would actually agree or disagree with me. The reason why I want to do this is partly there is a misconception that is currently ongoing, and that misconception is part of the things I would be addressing this evening. The misconception, you know, um, is one of those areas where people, question someone's um, Nigerianness, the right to property, the right to land, the right to ownership of landed property, and all the rest. So it's one of those areas that this evening I will be touching on. But before I do, as I normally do, and that has been my tradition, that before I start, I know that you, my viewers, that you spend your time, your money, your energy to stay with me, and I'm going to give you the opportunity at some point to make your own contribution. Now, I don't know, some of you must have seen the video trending where um, someone was saying in Lagos, calling on Obasanjo, calling on Tinubu to help the Yoruba or help them to reclaim their land, which they argue that the Igbos have taken over. Now, I ask a question. Why would someone, you know, today the world, I'm just being very careful here, not to, because I have had this conversation with a professor yesterday who clearly said to me, Mazi, that we must, that is Ndibo, must pay homage to those who have accommodated them. And I thought to myself, I don't, honestly, Professor, I don't know what you mean. Obviously, that's something I said to you, what you mean by paying homage. And to drive my point home, I would play us this clip. We must pay attention here what this individual says. What this individual, because his argument here is going to be the basis of my engagement this evening. And which is, once more,
village. Let mechanic village be saved. Let us be remain as a mechanic. Law and Lagos, where am I? Village. Let mechanic village be saved. Let us be remain as a mechanic. We are law-abiding citizen of Lagos State. Where am I myself as you are looking at me? I'm born and brought up in Lagos State.
So, okay, what this man is saying is he was born in Lagos. He grew up in Lagos. So we need to understand his argument. We need to understand his argument in order to make to get somewhere.
Have any other state? Yoruba. We are the only Yorubas in Ladipo as a whole living. President mechanic. We have more than 13 different workshops in Ladipo. To Akiwumi extension, to Igbolowu.
Now he is explaining where they have their workshop. This is all about Ladipo. Please stay with me because, this is a very sensitive issue that I have decided. I know I just finished a conference now, but I've decided because this is trending. I didn't want to just do a video. I just want us to look at this dispassionately. Please, before we continue, share this video to anyone, any of your Yoruba friends. Share this video to them. Let them join this conversation because we must look at these things. If we must be as a people, there is no way we can run away from this. Let me continue.
John, Musa, All those places have been taken over by Igbo people.
You see, all those places have been taken over by the Igbos. It means what he's doing, he's basically saying that the Igbos have taken over their places. Igbos have taken over their places. Igbos. Bear in mind, understand what he's saying. Igbos have taken over their places. Igbos. Again, Igbos, not Fulanis, have taken over their places. Now let's continue.
These only remain for only Yorubas and the Igbo people. They are now telling us they are going to use millions to remove us. They are going to remain here forever. Please, the people of Lagos State, Tinubu, Baba Agbalagba, the Jagaban of universe.
You see, he's now calling on Tinubu, the Jagaban of the universe, what, whatever that means, to come and help them. To come and help them do what? Watch and listen attentively. To come and help them do what?
Mechanic village. Let mechanic village Odudua remain as a mechanic workshop. It's under power line. It's given to us by the former governor of Lagos State, Alhaji Lateef Kayode Jagore. Kudos to the man. Kudos to the man. Kudos to the man. That's my contribution to the press.
I am appealing to Yoruba leaders. Yoruba leaders, are you sleepy? No. Are we sleepy? No. In a grand where we suffer for, our grandfather suffer for, our father labor for, somebody will come from outsiders because of money. You want to sell our name. It's not done everywhere. Remember tomorrow. Please, Mr. Jagaba, I with honor, with respect, I want you to use your name.
Now, they are saying something that is very fundamental. They are calling on all the Yoruba leaders. They are not questioning anyone selling land, but they are calling on all the Yoruba leaders to come together to stop the Igbos. Pay attention once more.
Your power, your logistics, please save us from this mess. If somebody will come from outsiders and tell us that they will use money to send Yorubas, Yoruba, we have much children coming. Where do you want them to stay and work? We are not hooligans. We are not an armed robber. We are not a tout. Many of us have suffered more than 10 years to gain this our practice. And when we get this our professional, where do you want us to practice it? And then I want you to remember, when the time of campaign, many of us, we left our wives, we left our children, we slept in this workshop where there's plenty of mosquito. And that time, don't forget, you have done a mistake with our leaders, that since then, you will not suffer us. This is stubbornness. This is stubbornness. I am appealing to our Jagaba too.
So why everyone, this is the fourth time they've mentioned Tinubu, the Jagaband. The one that was a governor and he is now living larger than life. Let's not get into that. That's not the reason of this evening discourse. They are calling on Tinubu to intervene, that they have campaigned for Lagos State. And in all these things they are saying, I'm only thinking to myself, what is the problem? I haven't seen the problem yet, but let's listen.
I know if you are aware of this, you will fight. No, if you are aware of this, you will fight for us. That's only you can fight for. Mushi leaders, hey, remember the ground you are marching. Remember the ground you are hit.
Okay, now the video is there. Let me start my diagnosis here. Because I've watched this, I have engaged some Yorubas that I consider, intellectuals enough to understand what I'm saying. And so many of you watching me, these are my take. You are Igbo. You travel to Ghana. You establish yourself in Ghana. You buy a land. You build. What do you become? You become a landlord in Ghana. Some of you move down to Ottawa, go to Canada, go to Germany, go to the United Kingdom, go to Scotland, go to wherever you go to. You, because in those places you don't buy outright, you go and get your mortgage. When you get your mortgage, what do? You start paying. 25 years later, you become a landlord. You become a land and a property owner. So many Yorubas are in London. In London, at least I know so many of them in London, they have multiple houses. Some of them have what they call in England, off-license shops. So that means they do these businesses. There are some areas you go in Pecan, you see them trading, doing these businesses. They have the right to do these businesses and trade in this area. I mean, of course, there are some businesses in London that the Yorubas dominate. Let's not beat about the bush. The same thing applies to Igbo. Now, the question is, why are they lamenting? We have driven this argument to a point where a professor told me, oh, in Igbo land, you don't sell land. And that is the reason why I have come to this evening broadcast. It is a lie, and Maze Zoke here is saying, it is a capital lie that we do not sell land in Igbo nation. It is a lie. We sell land. And I will analyze for you. Someone, you are calling the Igbos out in Lagos. The Igbos that you are calling out didn't force you to sell the land. They didn't put any gun on your head to sell the land to them. They paid money to you to sell the land. You agreed on your own price, on your own terms. Go to Ekbe today, go to Aja. We're not talking about Okota that has been totally built up by Indigo. Neither are we talking about Amodofin. But these are areas where you come in, they put land for sale. You call a number. The number says, hey, who is on the line? I say, it's Mazi Tochukwu Ezoke on the line. Who am I speaking to? He says, my name is Hakim. I see you have a land in Okota. You want to sell? He said, yes, I want to sell. How much? He says, 20 million. I say, oh, God, this 20 million too much. I will pay 10 million. Okay, come, let me go and see the land. I have not at this point stopped any Yoruba from buying that same land. I haven't. He agrees. He comes to Okota. He meets me. He comes to Ladipo. He has a shop. Yes, I agree. He inherited it. He bought it. His dad bought it and gave it to him. It's immaterial. But the point is, you set the price. Your fellow Yorubas couldn't buy it because perhaps to them it was not worth it. It was expensive. Now someone comes in from the southeast and says, okay, I have the money to pay. He pays, he starts his business. The local government comes, he pays his tax. The state comes, he pays his tax. The LC, whatever local government or local council they call, the one created by Tinubu, they come, he pays his tax. The Omonile comes, he pays his tax. Suddenly, you've collected 20 million from him. You probably sent your daughter to England. You've married a second wife. That is your problem. Now your money finishes. Suddenly you come back and say, Omo Igbo, why did Igbo, why you were buying land everywhere? And you think to yourself, someone is in your bushes, taking over your bush. You are not saying anything to the person who is in your bushes, who has occupied your bushes, and he hasn't paid you one time. Your problem is someone who has paid you some money. It is a business transaction. You leave Obomosho, you go to Washington, D.C., you go to Baltimore, you go to Texas, you go to Alaska, wherever. You live there, you buy that house. The house, they give you the title, the house becomes yours. Oh, someone said my voice is too low. Please let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. Can you give me a thumbs up? Let me know that you can hear me before I continue. Someone said, Maazi, your voice is too low. I don't know if you can hear me, if my voice is actually too low. I don't know. So, meaning, if you give me thumbs up, that means my voice is okay. That's fine. Please, my people, stick around. Stick around because this is a very serious issue that we need to. I thought to myself, I have done with discussing people, individually with people. So I want to do this live video. The reason why I want to do live actually is that so if we come to the point of somebody ringing in so that you understand what is happening, you make your own contribution. Now, and bear in mind, this is a people that came out of a war that they were given 20 freaking pounds, for Christ's sake. The reason, when we had the indigenization decree, others were buying properties, assets, buying USC, but Igbos couldn't participate because they had nothing. They had nothing. They just been defeated in a war that they said no victor, no vanquished. But that is just been, playing with some words, being nice about it. It was a war that the Igbos lost. They had nothing. They were only given 20 pounds. And now they've come back. They've walked their back out. They ached out. They worked so hard and made something out of themselves and started buying properties. Go to Sokoto, go to Kaduna. Whenever you see, I'm not being derogatory here. There are areas you go to Kano, for instance, today. When you see nicely done duplex, you can be 80% sure that belongs to an Igbo man. The same way an Igbo man buys land in his own state and builds the same way he builds. They are builders. Now the Yorubas are now saying, "Oh, Igbos, why their Igbos are coming everywhere?" And I ask, did Igbos put gun in your head to take the land? The Igbos paid for this land. The Igbos paid for this land. There was no freebie. The Igbos didn't occupy your bushes. After the Biafran War, the Igbos didn't come to the southwest to say, "Okay, give us land." They didn't do Babiala for you to give them land. They asked you the price. You set the price in conjunction with the market forces. The price was yours, not them. It was, I will sell this land for 2. I have a friend who built a house in, is it Ajao Estate? Jesus Christ, this guy sent me, he built a 2-story building there. He sent me pictures of this house. I nearly cried. He said, for him to build this house, you know what he did? He will cast, they actually did peg on top of swamp. They went in with boats on top of water. So the guy said the way he actually filled that place was, they would do a wood, cast it, put cement, let it sink. When he did his soccer wear, this is the way he did his soccer wear. They do like square, cast on top. Now dig so that it keeps going in. They keep doing that way. They will, just like cast a square, raise it up, then they would be digging, it will be going under till it gets to a point. And while they are doing that, they have a pumping machine. Then I asked myself, why on earth would I want to go through that? And honestly speaking, the amount he used in doing the foundation for that for that 2-story building would have probably given him a duplex in Oka or Ebonyi or somewhere else. But why is he not doing that? Because Igbos are builders. Igbos believe that they are meant to live a normal and a very good life. And there is no apology. Sorry, there is no apology. They didn't force you to sell your land. They didn't force you to sell anything to them. It was a choice. Oga, how much are you selling this land? This land is 200,000, 2 million, whatever. Then they haggle and they pay. The guy in the video said about shops. Of course, Igbos come in. They look for shop. How much are you selling? How much are you renting this shop? You say, I'm renting this shop for 2 million a year. And Igbo, a Yoruba, between an Igbo and a Yoruba say, okay, I am going to pay for this shop 300,000. You, a fellow Yoruba says to another Yoruba, oh, no, I won't rent this shop for 300. What you have on the internet, what you have on the whatever you advertise is 2 million. An Igbo comes, says, okay, I will pay 1.5. The first month you didn't agree. Second month you called him back, okay, I will give you 1.8. Eventually you agree on 1.6, for instance. A fellow Yoruba comes in and says, okay, I'll pay 1 million. You have option. Rent the shop to a fellow Yoruba for 1 million. Or rent the shop to a fellow Yoruba for 1.6. But it's nowhere to be found because he won't pay. An Igbo agrees for 1.6. You take this 1.6 million off him, pockets it, goes away, do your owembe. That's fine, that's your life. You cannot eat your cake and have it. You cannot make an omelette without breaking eggs. There is no two ways about this. Why are we talking? Well, what are we talking about for Christ's sake, people? Now, let me drive this further. The Igbo man pays you. He owns that place now. In 5 years' time, he calls himself Chikasin Auto Spare Parts. Suddenly, in 5 years, your daughter says, Daddy, I want to go to America to study. Of course, you want your daughter to have a good life. You no longer have any land to sell. All you can ask him, Chikasin, this shop, you pay me 2 million. Can I have 2 years? Chikasin will pay you 2 years happily. Because he knows he has stability, he will pay you 4 million. But 4 million is not enough for you. Suddenly, you come back to Chikasin and say, Chikasin, you know the other day I was discussing with you, I actually want to sell this shop. Chikasin says, how much? You say 15 million. And what does Chikasin do? Chikasin says, well, I got this thing is too much. I'll pay 35. You say, Chikasin, I need to send my daughter to America. I need 40 million. Eventually, you agree 38 million with Chikasin. Chikasin, again, counts this money, give you, Yoruba, called your own lawyer, your own brother, you draft the agreement, Chikasin buys this shop. For Christ's sake, where is the problem that you are now complaining that the Igbos has moved from coming to Lagos with only slippers, coming from the war, just like the story of Koscharis? There is no gainsaying, and that we must say this. Yes, the Yorubas are very, the Yorubas are a very hospitable people. Their hospitality, I give it to them. Right? They've now sold this thing to you. I see no problem about that. Now let me play the second video before I'll go to the next point. Why every Nigerian believes that the Igbos don't sell land? That is arrant nonsense. It is entirely, it's not true. Falsehood. Igbos sell land. Why is it that when why is it that Igbos are buying Lekki, whatever, all these new Lekki, new development, new Aja? Why are Igbos buying them? One thing we don't know is, people, you see, the Igbo, the whole of the southeast, the whole of the Igbo nation is not up to Niger State. Or your state alone is almost about 78% to 80% the whole of the nation. Only one Oyo state. If you put Oyo and the Ekiti state, it's greater than the whole of Igbo nation. Now, there is an issue of land. Our mentality is different. I am from Anambra. In my village, if I go to Oshobo today, I'll buy a land for 150, 200, 300,000. In my village in Anambra, if they call me Mazi, there is a land in the next village. The land is 5.5 million. And I'll say, me Mazi, as I'm talking to you now, I'll say, will you say 4 million? if they drop that phone, but if I call them back tomorrow morning, guarantee you 95% that land is already sold. Why? Can you compete? Can you compete? Are you getting the sense why Igbos buy land? Now, I am from Anambra. I can't even, in my own village, buy land of 5 million. Then I come to Niger State and you give me 1 kilometer of land for 500,000. I'll be like, guys, are you kidding me? Are you beginning to see the mentality why, you know, in as much as I am addressing this, I want us to understand one thing. I want the Igbos to begin to actually think of Akulona. Akulona, Akulona, the think home philosophy that was driven by Chief Dr. Chukwuemeka Ezeife, the former governor of Anambra State. The think home philosophy. But again, in as much as I call for the think home philosophy, sometimes it will be very hard for me to also say that an Igbo man will now go to Lagos, go to Kano, and live in a hut. It is not in the nature of an Igbo man. Let me give us the story why Igbos actually started building. Before the war, Igbos didn't have many properties as they do now. Yes, they did have in Lagos and like in rivers, eventually, which led to the abandoned property. Igbos, mostly civil servants, when they worked at in the railway, in the government, in the north. That's why you see people like Nzogu, even Ojuku and Dr. Nanda Zikiwe, they were all born in the north because their parents were there. But when the war came, they did not have one thing. They didn't have a house at home. So when they ran from the war, they came back. And it was an eyesore and it was an insult. I give it to my people. There is this ego in us. That when somebody came back, and this is a man that was known as Akajiako, he drove his Beetle, he drove his Maurice Minor in those days. But he came back just with his head. He didn't come back with his car. He was just, sleeping with his brother in a thatched house. But what happened? After the war, the mentality changed. And Igbos began to say that wherever they are, Akohagi, Olululu, no. And they began to massively and aggressively begin to acquire property in order to start playing catch up. The same thing that happens within the Igbo happens anywhere. Why is it that whenever a Nigerian leaves the four shores of Nigeria, he excels? I never considered myself an intelligent human being. I'm just making this confession publicly for the first time. Until I studied in Germany. And I wrote exam with Germans with their own language. And I saw my result. I said, wow. So no one have madman or what? But all the while I studied in Nigeria, all I hear my lecturers say is, 100 to 80 is for God. 80 to 75 is for me. Then you can struggle to have anything less than same. And he says it and he says it boldly. And nobody challenges him. You cannot say anything because he can fail you. You keep having carryovers. But until I saw where no one, it is only you are being judged by the content of your brain. Because in writing exam done in Germany, all we did was you write your admission number. The lecturer doesn't know your admission number. He doesn't know who is writing. You are being judged by the content of what you put in the paper. That means when the Igbo man left his place and began to see Nigeria as an estate to play with, and began to move and elevate himself, moving away from that thing that was holding him down, Igbo man began to soar and began to buy up everywhere. Now, I want to align myself with what Pastor Tunde Bakari said. Because this thing you are seeing here, there is a high-level discussion going on today on what to do to the Igbos. In as much as we are calling for alliance, we must get alliance for the Yorubas in order to extract ourselves out of this entity called Nigeria. Because again, do not be deceived, my people. You cannot do it alone, and we cannot do it alone. Do not be deceived. Anybody telling you that you're going to get it, you want to go alone and do it, no. Unprepared, we went into it in 1967. We will not repeat it again. But this time around, we must do it as a collective. And when we come back, we'll deal with the other issues surrounding it. Now, let me play this video for us. And this is what Tunde Bakari says, and that is where I agree with him. This video is going to be now, hopefully. Uh-oh. What happened? Let me try again. Okay. Listen to this. Listen very carefully.
Was at a meeting.
He was in a meeting.
A few days back, and they said, the Igbos, we must find a way of checkmating them. I sat there in the midst of them. And the man said, you are not even saying anything.
You see, understand what Tunde Bakari is saying. Tunde Bakari is a Yoruba elite. They called him where the Yorubas were having elite discussion, not mushroom discussion, elite discussion. Those that control and those that decide what happened in the society. And they were talking about the Igbos. They were talking about the Igbos. One quote Ochuku says, your volume is too low. I think you might have to look at your phone. I think I can't kill myself. I'm shouting. Actually, I have headache now because I am giving it all my all, trying to get my voice to be, I'm just trying to get my voice. Let me, increase the volume a little bit, but I think I am honestly shouting here. So if my voice is low, I don't know what else to do. I am really, really sorry about that. So before I lose my train of thought. So the Yorubas were having this conversation, and Tunde Bakari, Pastor Tunde Bakari, Pastor Dr. Tunde Bakari, let me put it that way, was invited. And he was accused of not saying anything. And the following happened.
So what is the offense? Is that they are put everywhere.
You see, they are talking, Igbo have Igbo this, Igbo have Igbo this. And he asked them, what is the offense of the Igbos? What was their offense? Ndi Igbo, what was their offense? Listen.
They are buying and buying. And I said, when they came with gun and shot people. Or your people.
Now, did Igbos come with guns? Did Igbos invade Benue? Did they invade Lagos the way? Sorry, again, someone said my voice is low. Yes, your voice is low. Honestly, I'm deeply sorry about that. Hold on. I'm deeply sorry about that. There's nothing else I can do. Let me obviously continue. So now the Igbos were being accused, and Tunde Bakari asked them this question. Let's play this again.
I said, when they came with gun and shot your people or your people.
When the Igbos came to Lagos, did they come with gun? Did they come with gun? They said no. Listen.
Money for purchase. Man looked at me and said, why are you like this? I said, I'm like that. Did your people sell to them? Or they brought gun and said, your land or your life?
And here we are, we have a set of people who are not interested in paying one kobo, one farthing for any land in any part of Nigeria. And all of you are zipping your mouth. You cannot say anything. But somebody comes in and pays a price you told him to pay, and that person is your problem. Come on. Come on.
Why don't you learn their industry?
Did you hear that?
Or they brought gun and said, your land or your life.
Did you hear that?
don't you learn their industry?
Did you hear that? Why don't you learn their industry? A very industrious people. An Igbo man will have 10 million in his account and he wears one single slippers with a jean that is tattered and the bottom is exposing. Yet, he is heading somewhere. Some people argue that that is a primitive accumulation of wealth. Well, that is your argument. That is your argument. I mean, it is his right to, genuinely work to better himself. To genuinely work to better himself. In this case, Tunde Bakare clearly understood what was happening. Someone, there is what they call, if you can Google it, in Igbo they call it Eba boy. In English they call it apprenticeship. But for the Western world they call it venture capital. Venture capital, where you serve someone for a certain number of years, they will settle you, and the person will start their own business. That's why you see someone like Capital Law, you see Senator Yoruba, he will tell you that his boss, his master, is Ibeto. You will see someone like Chikasen, he will say the same thing. You will see someone like Koscharis, he will say the same thing. Suddenly you see, because they've been able to help each other, you see a small town like Newi having so much millionaires. How did Yoruba acquire the jetties that, for the tank farms he has in Lagos? He didn't build them. Someone was selling. And he bought. He moved around, he garnered money, he approached people, they put money together, and he bought. So why are we being jealous? Let me use that word. But before I continue, let me get Tunde Bakari to basically finish his train of thought.
Why don't you learn their industry? Who asked you to sell your land? That was the end of the meeting.
I like that. And that is what has prompted me to say this. Because in the last 3 days, I have engaged my Yoruba friends who have sent me this video with this topic, and I've decided, in as much as I'm tired this evening, I must address this so that I will stop on that individual engagement. Anyone asks my opinion again on this, please forward them this video. I beg you, forward them this video, because we must address these issues. The question thereof is, what is the problem? Because the Igbos are buying everywhere. That's what they said. I'll play this again.
That's the end of the meeting. If you have to invite me to a meeting where we are going to move the nation forward, don't pitch one tribe or ethnic clash against the other. It's not going to work for.
You see? Now, Tunde Bakari honestly understood here that what they were doing was to pitch two ethnic nationalities against one another. Sometimes when I do car importation, my and most trusted custodian is a Yoruba man in Lagos. Most trusted than many of the close family friends. There are good people across board. I have never seen someone who, when he tells me this content of this is 5, then it is 5. Question thereof is, why are other Nigerians not buying lands in the southeast? When I said this, someone said, "No, Mas, what are you talking?" I said, now, if we have 100 Nigerians buying properties in Cote d'Ivoire, in Ivory Coast, in Ghana, in Lome, what is the percentage of Igbos? Igbos are in the greater number. So it's not only that Igbos buy in Lagos. It's not only that Igbos, so if it's about acquisition, why is it that the Togolese, the Ghanaians, the other nations, other South African nations do not have any issues in selling to the Igbo man? And the reason why the Yorubas and the Hausas and the Fulanis, the Nupes and the Efik will not buy in the Igbo nation is because, one, they do not believe, because you see, there is a way injustice has something it does in the brain. One, subconsciously, take it or leave it, that's the fact. Subconsciously, there is this level of oh, we've done injustice to them, they might one day do something to us. Let's not risk our investment by investing there. The only investment you will see is like something like mast, telecommunication mast, bank buildings. That's all. That notwithstanding, I know of some houses in Onitsha that have I think it's Ven Road North or something like that. They have some shops, they have some houses because they've been there for long. The Amausa, some of the properties there, they even rent those shops to Igbos. Even the Igbos cannot afford to buy them back from them. But the percentage is very low. Because the Igbo man does not come into Lagos and want you to give him house for free. He's so proud and so full of himself. But hey, someone moves down to the southeast. He comes to do a job. He's comfortable to sleep in a 6x6 room where he only has his mat. He has his kettle to wash his legs and probably the private parts to go to prayer, and that's it. He's not interested in developing and in building that place yet. You have the audacity and you have the infantry and you have the tenacity to talk about someone who comes in a swampy area, fills it up, builds it, and makes a home out of it. Makes a home, mark that word. An Igbo man makes a home out of anywhere he lives. Go to Lekki today, look at the fine houses. Honestly, the last time I was in Ladipo, I said to myself, if I am the governor of Lagos State, there is some regulations that I need to put in place here because the place is too dirty. Now, do not misunderstand me and do not misquote me. It's not because it's been an Igbo area, but that place needs to be cleaned up. It's human habitation. I mean, people are not pigs, just living, living that way. But having said that, let it be known to us and let it be very clear. An Igbo man wants to live comfortable. Come to Ekiti. You will see a house. If you tell yourself the truth, you watching me today, if you come to Benin, if you come to Ekiti, if you come to Kaduna, when you see a house, even if you go to Lekki today, sorry, I'm not, but if you go to, there are houses you will see, without thinking twice, you know that this house belongs to an Igbo because he wants to do it and he does it right and he wants to live right. And that same person comes to his village, he has the same house. So why are you not reciprocating on the same gesture that they do? Yes, they build houses and they build their place as well. So the point I'm making this evening is that we must drop this. I call it jealousy. We must drop it. It doesn't make any sense. Igbos didn't come with gun to take shops in Ladipo or anything. No, they bought them. They bought them with their hard-earned money. Therefore, they earned it. As long as this nation called Nigeria still remains one, as long as it's still a federal republic, As long as they still move with the green passport, they have the right to build anywhere as long as the price is right. Now, let me address the final point here. When people say, oh, Igbos don't sell land, I told you, one of my relations left the north to the south. He could not afford to pay a shop in Onitsha. After about a year, he was frustrated. He went back to the north. Why? He could not cope with the competition. I'm telling you, this is a person who is also Igbo, but he couldn't cope with the competition. If you see a small shop, they say this shop is 1.2 million. Where he was in Jos, he has a massive place that he pays 200,000, and he wants him to pay 1/10 of the same thing in Onitsha. He couldn't. He's already stayed too long in the north that he could no longer understand it. He had to run back. In the north, he is happy to stay in Jos with 2 million. And he's riding his motorcycle and he's living like a king. He is comfortable. But hey, he comes down to the south with 2 million. Sorry. He's nobody. He's not up to what people, some people I know in Lekki, they go to clubs on Sunday, they have 10 million in their bag, and that's it. That money, that night is gone. So, they make the money in Lagos, they spend it in Lagos. What we must realize is, as long as this nation remains one. And this evening I had a conference titled Nigerian on the Precipice. And one of the participants, Kachi Ononuju, said something that was very instructive. He said, this is what he told me. He said, I told Tinubu the Igbos would continue to influx Lagos as long as you support that there is no seaport in the southeast. Lagos will be a place where Igbos must continue to come in. If I want to buy a small car and I bought a car and I do Roro, Roro is rolling, roll out, without container. The car comes in from America. I can't do Roro to Port Harcourt. Roro is only in Lagos. Why? Listen, in Igbo we say, Oji heta wenia ke nu akalobia no ye wichi atia na ma golovo. There is no two ways about it. You cannot keep a man down and you want to be up. No, you can't. Because you have decided some of the things that people do, some of us that have pushed for restructuring, or when people say they don't understand restructuring, I say, come on, it's unbundling of the exclusive list. Give people the right to develop their own region. If ships, let's say the number of ships that comes into Lagos, imagine where these ships are now coming into Onitsha. If a man is a clearing agent, he is from Nnewi, it takes him about 30 minutes to drive from Nnewi to Onitsha, or from Oba, 15 minutes to Onitsha. And he goes to work at the wharf in Onitsha. What is that man looking for in Lagos and lives in Ikorodu? A man that lives in Ikorodu and wants to go and do a work in Apapa Wharf spends about 3 hours in, 3 hours out. 6 hours of his life on traffic, smelling gas, CO2. He gets home, he dies. Everybody say, oh, village people have killed him. Whereas it is all those Molues blaring those black smokes that kill them and destroy their internal systems. The injustice of holding them down is what is holding you down. If you want your leaders to help you in not allowing them to come into Lagos to acquire those land, tell your leaders that Mazi Ezoke said, let them lend their voice and let them make sure that this government builds those infrastructures that you have in Lagos, also in the east, where you have zero, when I say zero infrastructure. I am a local government of my own. No running tap. No light. We have now resorted to solar and inverter systems. We dig, for some of us from the hinterlands, the uphills of the Anambra, we have no water. We had to dig round wells, plaster them. Some of us do 18 by 20, 20 by 20. We'll plaster them 4, 3, 5 times. Some of them tile them. You collect water from your Metrocopo. Is it Metrocopo? Yeah, Metrocopo long span roofings. You send the water down. You pipe it again. Do your tank. Push it to your tank in order to serve your house using the force of gravity. Come on. This is something that is, when we begin to unbundle it, you see that there is an element of injustice and the cry for help that is in this. One of my friends from Plateau accused me that one of his friends had a land in Enugu and that land was taken over. And I said, no, listen, if somebody has a shop in Enugu and that shop was taken over, Maze is okay. The person is from the north and you took his shop away because he's from the north. That is injustice. I am against injustice and I will fight for him. I said to him, give me his number, I'll ring him. And I rang him. Alas, the story is not what I was told. I was told that it was a case of injustice and I have made up my mind even to bring him on this channel to discuss it because injustice to one, as long as I criticize injustice being done to Igbo, then I cannot tolerate that we do injustice to another person as well because we are human beings. Some of us live abroad, some of you live in the UK, some of you live wherever you live. The same way land is expensive in an Igbo is the same. Listen, many of you watching me now from London know this. If you go to Baltimore, the side of Baltimore, if you go to New York, the houses are not the same price as what you have them in LA. In London, if you go to Kent, or I'm even go to Liverpool and go to Manchester, you buy a house, 100,000 pounds. But to come to London, you will not buy a house, no matter which house. You can't buy it for 300,000 pounds. That is times 3. Why? Because London is smaller. It is saturated. You go up north, the rooms are bigger, even when they are cheaper. Now, just suppose same analogy to the Igbo nation. You find out, Igbo nation, their land is actually, some of them, Maha is 50 by 50. Some places is 50 by 100. Whereas if you go to the north, sometimes it's even 120 by 120, almost like twice. You could build a massive house. That's why most times they don't even need to build upstairs. Upstairs is because we are conserving land. They just do their bungalow and still have their boys' quarters. Because these things are common sense. So at the end of the day, the reason why the land in Igbo nation are very expensive, one, because there is not many land there. Second, in as much as there is not many land there, the other point is competition. Are you able to compete? Then I'll ask you from Lagos State, if from Ogun State. Now you go to Nnewi and you say, I want to sell this land. And this land, Nnewi tells you this land is 10 million. Question is, why are you buying it? That's why you're not interested, because you now think, what am I investing 10 million in Nnewi? But whereas I can go to Ekiti and buy the same land 2 times with 10% of the amount I would have invested in Nnewi. Now the land in Onitsha and Nnewi is advertised, let's say, an empty land at Mpo, advertised for 5 million. Me, from Anambra, calls and says, I want to pay 2.5 million. You won't even call because you're not interested. You already see the advertised price as too much. Now, if you want to compete with me, I am willing to pay the 4.5 million, but you can't. So it's It's simple, the simple law of demand and supply. So why are you people getting angry? That's what I don't understand. What you should do is, if you don't want to sell, you don't want to sell. It's not by force. If you don't want to sell, you develop it. But hey, who built trade fair? With whose money? Look at Odolowu, for instance. Yes, Odolowu is, of course, we know who owns it. But this is something that people consistently, they have worked to make these things happen. But here we are, all some of us can do is to basically say, Igbo's this, Igbo's that, Igbo's this. Now to my Igbo brothers, Abo abo antunogwe, abo abo antunogwe, oroko n'ogwe ka atu ala ako. It is time you begin to think home, the think home philosophy. I have a good friend. After the election, we were discussing. And this is a man I have considered to be a cosmopolitan person. And he made a statement that really got me thinking. He said, he's from the southwest. And he said to me, Maza, when I complained of what happened in Okota, I thought someone who has, very well read, works in a very recognized and reputable international company. And he said to me, but why would people come to Okota and vote? That struck me. And I asked myself, in a federation that you ought to be part of, and somebody is questioning your nationality and your ability to vote in a place where you live, you pay tax, you have become part of, and they stopped you from voting because of where your parents decided to sleep with one another in order to beget you. Now, with that kind of thinking, what is the difference between that thinking and what is happening in America that led to the death of George Floyd? There is none. If someone, imagine for instance the outrage that would follow many of us watching me now if we had that the day of election in Anambra, that there was a Yoruba man on the line and the Igbos came and beat him, tell him to go, or that he voted. Igbos went in there, took his voter. Imagine the outrage. Not even from non-Igbos, because I will be among those that will condemn it because it is unlike us. And I said to my friend, because he said to me, Mazi, would they allow me to vote in Inewi? That's the way he said it. Would they allow me to vote in Inewi? Referring to Nnewi. And I said, then you don't know the people you refer to as Igbo. Quote me anytime, any day. These are people, the Igbos will be the first to make sure that you vote before them and that your vote must be protected. That's the people you know about in Igbo. And I think Nigeria don't understand in Igbo because they don't want to. And they have no, they have no intention to come close to learn them. They only see Igbos from afar. The Igbos that have come to their place. The level of hospitality of Igbo is amazing. We get people who call them, house helps, megad, whatever they call them. You give them your boys' quarters. They live free of charge. A man who that you have given your boys' quarter, you are not even there. You are in Lagos, you are in London, you are in America, and you build a massive house, you build a boys' quarter. You've given it to him. How can he invest in a place that he pays no rent? All he does for you is just, if even that sometimes is even difficult for them to do. If you have interlock and weeds are coming up, just remove them, sweep the house. Someone knocks at the gate, knows who is there. Have your wife, your children, they run around in a big compound and they enjoy themselves. Now tell me, how many people can compete in Arewa? Do you know how much a shop costs in Arewa? If you can, it's about all competition. That's all in conclusion here. I tell you, my people, it's an hour now. I'll try to open the telephone line. My people, I tell us, please, let us not hate one another. Let us stop the hate. It helps no one. If someone comes to your place, he's not an indigent, treat him right. We are all visitors on this planet Earth. We fight for land, we fight for all we fight for. We will leave this planet Earth with no land, with nothing. Naked, we came to this world. Naked, we must depart this world. On that note, my people, I would allow us now, and I will take some of your comments and see what you people have been saying. Now, let me take the first comment here. I have Raymond. I have Raymond here. Or Ray Power said, with functional modern seaport in Onne, Port Harcourt, Warri, and proposed seaport at Calabar, then International Airport at Calabar, Port Harcourt, and Nasaba. Now, you see, that is what Raymond has just said now is the clear spirit of Ronyibo. In all he wrote, I put it back again. In all he wrote, remember, none of the things he wrote is a clear Igbo. An Igbo is not there. An Igbo is not Port Harcourt. An Igbo is not Calabar. An Igbo is not the other states. But what he's saying is the proximity of these places, the Calabar, Onne, Warri, and all the close proximities are close to the Igbos. So that means people they will move somewhere else. Do you know how many of my classmates that are clearing agents? I only have one that works in Onne. Others are in Lagos. So meaning if they had the same opportunity to be in Onitsha, for instance, or if we had a seaport in Uguta, tell me why someone would go down to Lagos. That which you look for in Sokoto, if they provide it for you in Sokoto, Ginikana, why do you smoke if not for the smoke? That's all. Nothing else. Injustice, address it. Is it too much to ask for a functional airport? I don't want to start today. I've met people, sorry, I'm not digressing, but people need to say this. Some of you don't even know that today is the 300 days that the Enugu International Airport's been closed. And I have restarted my campaign because I found it unbelievable that we are still going up and down. Why would people be in Lagos? They leave London. They can't land in their place. They will have to land somewhere first, unpack their bags, spend some days. Someone comes in from America. He has a couple of days to stay, but he's there. He has to stop somewhere first. Stop somewhere, unpack, before he starts going home. Yet some people will say, hey, where are Igbos everywhere? You cannot, you can't shoot at something and you go back and ask who shot it. Come on. It is a federation. If we have these things that we clamor for, the things we actually clamor for are, it's not even skyrocket science. It's just that, sorry, people clamoring for the basic things. Basic, when I say basic, like in basic, nothing special, nothing serious, just the basic. Anyway, let me take comments. It's Friday. I believe some of you would have my time today, so we'll just shortly we'll be rounding up. Raymond again says, Raymond, I think I've taken two of your comments. Awolowo made a deliberate policy of bringing all the businesses head office to Lagos, then federal capital of Nigeria. Well, it was the federal capital of Nigeria, that's correct. So let me look for Nwankwo Chukwu, my namesake. Nwankwo Chukwu says, they like you coming to Lagos because they prefer overpopulated Lagos, increase revenue than developing Southeast. See, Southeast will not be developed by them. You and I are the people that must develop the Southeast. However, in our efforts to develop the Southeast, there must be something equity that we have to apply here. There must be that level of equity that we must demand and that we must see. Not only demanding it, we must also see it. We must see it. We must see it happen. Yeah, we must, because honestly, people, there is no, when some of us say these things, there is no two ways about it. Yeah, how can an airport, a runway, for Christ's sake, not even a terminal, a runway, for 300 days? I'm just, let me get my flyer. Actually, hold on a moment. For 300 days, we've been talking about an airport closed on the 24th of September. Yeah, 24th of September. Hold on. Where is this? I just need to do this. Sorry, pardon me. Okay. Yeah. Oh. Yoruba will say kilo happen. Okay, I've seen it. Okay, so I hope you can see it now. Now I'm beginning to ask this question, people. This is my question. 300 days. Why this level of unseriousness at the airport? The only region that has no international airport. The only region that's close to the sea but has no seaport. Yet the same people that travel out, the same people that import. All we hear is Igbo here, Igbo this, Igbo. Yet you force the same Igbos to migrate. Because if there was enough opportunities at home where they migrate, they now migrate and they create opportunities elsewhere. And that is the simple truth. Take it or leave it. That is the simple truth, honestly. There is no two ways about it. You see, 300 days. Anyway, on that note, I will take one or two calls and to have your, to hear your views on this. And we can, before we call it a day, here is the number to call. The number is WhatsApp only. This number is WhatsApp only. You can call and make your view. I don't want this video to go beyond an hour 30 minutes, so that it will be easier for some of you that want to share this video to share it. And I can see that we have a closer. We had over 300 people watching. Now we have less. So if you want to make your contribution, you can make it quickly. Please do not take much time. So just make your contribution and go straight to the point if you can. Please, I beg you, if you can do that. So at the end of the day, the point here remains that Igbos, it is a fallacy that Igbos do not sell land. No, they do. In the townships, in the cities, of course they do. But likewise, the way I cannot go to Obomosho, in your own village, I can't go there and buy land now that I want to live. No, it is that land is indigenous to you. But in the cities, of course, they sell land and I can buy land in those places. But in this case, there are lands, let me make that expressly so, there are lands that you cannot sell. My son cannot sell the land I inherited from my father or from my grandfather to an outsider. No, he can't. That is, in Igbo, it is called Anobi. Anandibonyele. The ancient land given to you. You cannot sell it, no matter what, you cannot. Even within the community now, there are some laws that say um, you can't even sell outside the family if you wish to. And those are lands that you inherit. But if I go to the city, if I go to Oka, if I go to Enugu, if I go to Owerri, the capital of Imo State, I'm free to buy hectares of land. I'm free to sell it to anyone who gives me the money at any point in time. I have the first caller here. Good evening, Mazes. Okay, speaking. Where are you calling from?
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, can you?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
This is Tony calling from Qatar.
Oh, Tony calling from Qatar. I thought it's night. You people should be sleeping by now, or early morning anyway.
Really? Yeah, it's early morning here.
Okay.
So they want the AM.
Okay, so make your comments, son. Make your contribution, son.
Yeah, please, I'm really interested in this particular program. Actually, I happen to come from Southeast.
Okay.
And what my brother is saying is a fact. So I think actually we have been held down for a very long time. So like the issue of this airport is something we cannot handle on our own as a zone. It's actually something that we need to get from the federal government. But
it is within the exclusive list, so there is nothing. Even if you wish to, there is nothing you can do. It's within the exclusive list.
Exactly. So what I'm trying to say now is this: like he made one comment that I think it is time for us to start thinking home, and I believe that because in Igbo land, I say Onya Juradi Ajon, where you get. So I think it's time we start thinking home. Enough of our investment outside Igbo land. Because if we are given the chance to do something in Nigeria, we know exactly what to do to make sure Nigeria is moving forward.
Okay.
But for the fact that we are not given that opportunity, I think there are some things we'll be doing on our own. Then since they don't believe in us, but when they see us doing that thing right, when they see us getting those things right in our own region, definitely they will start to believe in us.
Listen.
So I think it's time for us. Hello?
Yes. Anyway, thank you very much. I have other callers on the line. Thank you very much. Your input is well noted. Thank you very much for your time, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. So, I mean, you can hear what he said. The point here remains: if you have a system, or rather a restructured system, where you can now build your own wharf and do all these things yourself. Of course, Imo State Airport was built by people collecting money to do that. So it wasn't built by the federal government. Yeah, hello. Yes, hello. Good evening.
Good morning from KL, Malaysia.
From where?
From Malaysia.
Okay, from Malaysia. Yeah. What's the name, sir?
It's Raymond.
Raymond. Okay.
Raymond.
Raymond, yeah. Ray Power. Go ahead. But I want the Yorubas I want to equally understand the mindset of the Yorubas. I know some of them are watching.
No problem, I can go, yeah. The issues with Igbos leaving Lagos and or whatnot, it's the downside of economic asphyxiation of the Easterners. So, look at it holistically. I will put it by making all these deliberate policies, bringing all the headquarters of foreign establishments. Good for them, they filled up the entire workspace, even though the quality of the staff is called to question. That one aside, now, how can we do business? We don't have any international exit. All the embassies are in Lagos, airports in Lagos. And the truth of the matter is that Igbo's presence in Lagos is not threatening any person. What they are looking after is, if we Igbos want to take Lagos in the next 5 years, we make Igbo language the commercial language in Lagos, and boom, Yoruba language in Lagos will go extinct. That is what the Fulani Hausas did.
Well,
and with the
well,
North.
well, well, well,
We
well,
make
well.
Igbo
Igbos,
language distinct then, minus rigging in Nigeria during elections. Igbos has the numbers to determine, alongside the Yoruba partner
well,
and other
Igbos have
nationalities
the numbers, but the day of the election,
there in Lagos,
Igbos have the
who will
number,
be
but
the
the day,
Lagos State, Lagos Mayor, and Assemblyman. So there's no gainsaying that Igbo should leave Lagos. As a matter of fact, Lagos is a megalopolis now.
okay. Thank you very much for. I think I have
It's
other
extending
callers.
to Ogun State. It's extending to all these other, I think Ogun State basically. So that's my contribution. Thanks for your this thing. I have to go offline so that I can make
No worries.
the call.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your contribution. Thank you, Raymond. So I think I had someone calling in before from Austria. No, is that Austria? +43. Is it Austria? Yeah, I think it's Austria. So you can call back now, and I mean, if I'm looking at the comments here, the comments here, it's some of us are saying stop sinking huge fund in Lagos. Some say come to Abuja, no landlord will rent their houses to Igbo again, especially northerners. And some say no nation can ever surpass the level of its leader, and leadership in Nigeria is all the lowest level. A lot, a lot of us are actually online, and I have Tammy Wallen said, I said it that the evil. What? I honestly, I'm struggling to. Okay, let me try again. I said it that the evil Nnamdi Kanu is preaching would only wake up other tribes to be against Igbos. I'm not catching that, honestly. Oh, what is evil? How does he preach evil? No, I don't think that's anyway. But at the end of the day, I have Newi Otibu here says we need airports urgently, and the Biafran League of Righteousness, but that is politics of Tinubu to continue economic sabotage of the southeast. I think I have another caller from. Hello. 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 What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, hello, good evening. My name is Charles Azubike Okonko.
Okay.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you. Charles, go ahead. Make your contribution. Charles, go ahead.
Heard?
I can hear you. Make your contribution.
Okay. All right. I want to contribute. Excuse me?
Charles, stop listening to yourself from with any device because obviously there's going to be a time lag. Make your contribution, please.
Okay. All right. What I want to say is about the infrastructure in well, you called it Igbo land, but let me mention Biafra.
Go ahead.
Yeah. What I want to say is that we can do it. Yeah, we can do it by ourselves. In terms of seaport, international airport, all these things, we can do it. You know why I say so? Since the North can build their own refinery and do their things, we can do our own things.
No, the North didn't build their refinery with their money. So let's get the facts right. They didn't build their refinery with their money. They built it with the money that came from the area called the Niger Delta area, or the old Eastern region. So it's not that they built it with their own money. Now, what you are advocating is we building ours with our own money, whereas theirs weren't built with their own money. So that's point of correction. Go ahead. Hello. Okay. So obviously, I mean, the conversation this evening it's been a very interesting one. And on that note, I will thank you and I will thank everyone that have called in. And we would have this conversation going. All you need to do is, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to the channel. Remember to click on the bell icon so that whenever I come online or whenever we post new videos, you get notifications. And at the same time, if you have someone that you've had this conversation and this argument with, please share this video with them. In that way, the conversation will get more interesting. The conversation and this misrepresentation of facts. You tell them this is what the way I've analyzed it. That these are the causes why Igbos keep buying. And it is a normal business transaction. If you go to London today, you want to buy a house, London doesn't care your nationality as long as you've got the fund. Many British people don't even, a friend of mine told me a story one time. When he bought his first property in England, the estate agency said, do you know this will be, that if you're feeling nervous, that many people feel this is the greatest investment that they ever make in their life. And he turned around and said, you don't know that I'm an Igbo man. How can you say that a house that he was buying that time at £150,000 would be the highest investment he would make? He said he told the estate agents, give me more 5 years, I will buy a house that is worth over £500,000. And believe me, 4 years and 8 months, he bought a house that was worth £565,000. That is the spirit. And that spirit, you can't beat it. You can't hold it down. You can only hold it down for a moment, but the great Igbo nation would once more rise again. I remain yours, Mazi Ezekiel. Good evening and have a wonderful evening. Thank you very much.